Here we go. Basilisk's Reynor is the blue Zerg in the bottom right side of the map. Liquid's Clem is in the bottom, in the top left-hand side. We'll get to them in a second. To get this set up to go. Alrighty, guys. Off and away we go. Drone just going to pull across towards the natural here for a couple of moments. Get that underway. Crack's coming down. We get set up. So look to see what we can do for a moment. This set and ready, and SCV just going to come moving across here as well and get things underway. Nothing too crazy happening first few moments. Moments to get everything up and running and see what we can get done for ourselves. We just have the Reaper coming through. Gonna try and hit drones just a little bit there, take a few shots of damage, get some action going right off the bat. We're gonna take a few shots off the Queen, so a couple more hits coming about right there. We've seen that Reaper obviously still trying to poke around, trying to get a little bit of extra done. Obviously, very nice that we get to see yet another game between Clem and Reynor. Feels like this is really just a battle between these two in this series so far, but of course, it's so important. Even if Reynor just takes the map, again, you got to consider what comes after this. So it does feel very good for Basilisk if Clem doesn't get a 2-0. Well, obviously 2-0 ends the series, so that wouldn't be good for Basilisk at all. But it does feel very good for Basilisk if it does go to that best of one ace. I think Liquid's best chance is for Clem to get it done right now. Exciting times. Couple Hellions moving about. Seeing that Queen's on the move as well. To just make our way about for the early stages. See, Reynor trying to be very careful, not letting those Hellions in at all this time. Going to go into that lair. Mutas were part of the answer for him so far today. See if that's maybe going to be the case again here as well. There's a possibility. I'd say one of the reasons that he's had some success against Clem is the power of those Mutalisks. Maybe that fast lair will introduce that. Obviously, when he's not being aggressive, it was that one macro game that Mutas were so apparent in. You know, Hellions gathering up here. Get a few chances to maybe have a go at some creep spread. Nothing too crazy just yet, though. Obviously, the Banshee coming forward is going to cloak up a little bit of damage onto these queens. Going to push the queens back a bit, give the Hellions a chance to actually go for some of that creep. Going to force the first transfusion there as well. Two Banshees, second one now showing up as well to try and join up with this. So, yeah, we lose a Hellion. Reynor's defense initiative with the queens is good, and the Spire is indeed on the way. So on the way to those Mutalisks, the setup begins. The hatchery trying to come down over on this side as well. Just going to get that in position on the 6 o'clock there. Just going to get that started up. And she's not going to find too much at all. So again, great defense from Reynor. It's one of those things that's so good to see, because harassment like that can absolutely just change the course of a game. It is good to just get on top of it and just not let it really develop into anything in the first place. It's going to make your life so much easier. Keep your hopes high for Basilisk here, as Mutas are now on the way out, and Reynor again going to be relying on these to give him the edge here against Clem. He's just going to grab one Overlord in the front. Green tank moving down the left side. So Clem already looking to push. Actually, not a bad time to push, right? Because if you push just as the mutas are coming out, as long as the mutas don't overwhelm you, it can be a tough time for the Zerg, because they put so much investment on the mutas. Clem is going to take position. Obviously, the tanks don't exactly help you against the mutas, though, so there is cause for a little bit of caution here, if nothing else. He's going to set up, just going to be seeing the hatch, taking some damage. Meter's going to show up on the other side. Clem has got Marines coming back home to deal with that. Still pushing that pressure on that left side base. Now, Reynor has got another base. So this was kind of a double expand to 4 base, so 4 and 5 base coming up at the same time here. That keeps him kind of okay, even if he loses that hatchery, that base in the upper right on the way up. Is going to allow him to kind of say, well, that's not too bad for me, even if typically it might not be the greatest of situations. He's actually going to get a little bit stuck in the corner here, I'd say. So far, Clem is honestly dealing with this pretty darn well. Pretty impressed with what we're seeing from him in terms of just calm, collected, a little bit of a push, but making sure he's got the defense in place back at home so this doesn't get out of hand super quickly. That's obviously going to be a very important part of all of this here. Let's push now, going to the right-hand side. Obviously, Clem knows that this is where the base is likely to be, or the next base is likely to be, so trying to get on top of that quickly. Trying to shut that down straight away. Obviously, the mutas are going to try and dive for some reinforcements where possible, and maybe even just go for the tanks around the back as well. Also a key factor, something that if you can get rid of those tanks, then that would be very good for you. So, something else you might just try and go for. The Banes is going to roll down. Looks as though Reynor is going to be able to defend this position. This base will not fall. Clem has a 4th base coming up. There's a medevac that just gets ahead of the Marines, and unfortunately that is going to cost Clem the unit there. And that was unfortunate, because it was actually very close to just not being an issue. The Marines were just a little behind, but that's why you got to stay on top of things. Slow to the SCV, repair on the missile turret, and Clem, this is where you got to be careful. You cannot let these mutas take this game out of control. You can't let this slip away from you with these mutas harassing, and that's exactly what Reynor was so good at in post-youth earlier today. So yeah, Clem knows that that's one of the reasons he has to be absolutely on point right now. Mutas pull back away. Those Marines taking position. The command center is going to continue over as well. A couple Banshees still heading over in that direction. Mutas once again just going to catch some reinforcements and just be an annoyance. Yeah, they're not as great in the straight-up fights, but these are not straight-up fights that we're taking, right? That's what that's coming down to. These are not straight-up fights at all. It's a lot more complicated than that, unfortunately. Clem. Oh, it's a Mucky. Thank you so much. 105-month resub. This Clem guy could be good one day. Maybe win a weekly. And not everyone can just go win a weekly, mate. As we are going to see with the SCVs going down, Clem feels the pressure to put some more damage across the map. He is moving forwards there. It's, again, just these Mutalisks that are causing so many issues for him back at home. You really need Clem to kind of come through and do more, but the Banshee's actually going to start just getting free damage. That's actually pretty nice. Clem's going to lose an engineering bay. He's up 2-2 to 1-1 right now, so he's in a much better position when it comes to the current trading of things. Banelings are going to continue forward. There is Widowmine and tank support still available. The Widowmine actually went off onto onto the Marines a little bit. Bit of friendly fire there, I believe. A little bit of a shame. Marines coming back over and just still going to try and push in towards that base. Both players taking a lot of losses. The Mutalisks have absolutely been killing SCVs, but Clem's army supply is still very comfortable. So we are in, across the board, I think, like I say, a very interesting spot right now. Morling Bane just going to come through. We are going to be seeing those Marines and tanks. Actually, maybe finally going to be broken back, but you don't really want to use the Banelings on the tanks, and the tanks kill more Banes as they retreat away. Clem's supply is going to start taking a little bit of a lead here over Reynor. Widowmine going to hit the Mutas? No, but there's Marines in pretty much every direction. The Mutalisk count taking big losses, and so one of the key factors of Reynor's game plan is now being torn apart. Oh my goodness, man. This series is just ridiculous, quite frankly. They just are going to keep going back and forth with each other, it feels like forever. Oh, such tense games as well. So important, such important games, most notably at this point in time. And it's going to keep on making this tough from both perspectives. Oh, definitely a challenge at the moment, as we just have ourselves the couple of Banes going to run through. Going to try and get a little bit more done. Now we're going to be seeing this Lean Bane connecting through as well. Muta's still overhead. A few Marines are going to get there. Mutas are going to take a few more shots of damage. Marines continue to go after those Mutas. So again, really trying to just make a little go of this at the moment. Queen firing away. The Banshee's still firing up. Marines will be there. Mutalisks will not be able to do too much with those Marines nearby, unfortunately, so not a lot can really be shut down or slowed down in that regard. Game actually does slow a lot, considering we've had attacks pretty much going consistently up until now. Now we're actually going to have a few moments of the game just chilling out, which is maybe not a bad thing on both sides. It's still coming through. A couple of those Marines getting shot down. Burrow coming up. Ling Bane, Queen all coming through as well. Bringing up as much of that as we can at the moment. Bane's going to crash through a couple of depots. We actually have the orbital command that will be coming back through. We've seen the Marines coming through. We've seen a few Marines pushing forwards. The creep is going to be continuing to go down. Just going to see a few Banes continue to wander forward as well, trying to see a bit more of what we can do here. We do have ourselves some fights breaking out across the board, but actually going to have a big run by Muta. Bane coming in again. Widowmine actually splashes onto the Mutas. The Marines are nearby. Clem will push Reynor back pretty swiftly. Reynor now on his way to Hive. Obviously, one of the things about Reynor's style that he's been playing here is that obviously you're playing a... yeah, you're kind of playing a style that is, again, still not kind of meant to trade well, kind of straight up fighting-wise, but he is going to be able to finally tech away from this a little bit and get to an army that might be better at straight-up fights, but he's not there yet. The Hive is up, but he's still being forced to make more Mutas. These Marines somehow chasing the Mutas away still. I thought the Mutas were easily going to turn around on them. The Medevac's going to show up, but there's no Marines left there. So Clem, I think, just losing control or losing attention of what was going on in that top corner. Porchy is going to lose out a little bit. Mistakes were made. Ultra Cavern coming through. 3-3 upgrades. Adrenal glands continue to be brought up as well right now. Biomine still coming through also, just also pushing across. The vest is going to load back up, just going to end up pulling away a little bit here. We do have the rest of the bio moving around. Mutas are going to go over the far left. Actually going to see a bunch of empty medevacs there. Don't know what Clem's flying these medevacs over here for. This is a very small cluster of bio. And he's just going to leave those open to being picked off. So that, I think, is just a mistake from Clem. Link Bane showing up. Clem has a lot bottom left to deal with the Mutalisk force that was there, but maybe not enough everywhere else that he needs it to be. Link Bane just going to get turned around. Bio will stim up to try and fight that. It's going to be seeing the medevacs having to lift up to try and get out of that too. So just pulling this away. Is going to try and get back in on top of everything and just try and do a little extra in the tail end of it all. I'm losing a lot of supply. This is absolutely momentum gain from Reynor. This was just a sequence of Clem being out of position. He was outnumbered in the bottom left, and then he went to the bottom left, but he didn't really need to be in the bottom left as much as he needed to be in the top right. And Reynor just completely outpositions him to deal a ton of damage. Reynor with money in the bank as well, and Clem is going to be absolutely in trouble now. As Reynor ends up in a very solid spot once more here. And just have ourselves a few lings still moving about. And try and reposition a little. Here's going to come over. SCVs in this mineral line might need to be careful. Widow Mine is the first target. It goes down. Clem needs to attack. Get a few moments to basically just recover from what just happened, and that is not exactly going to be easily found. Bane lane's in the ground as well, going to hit Clem there, so again, Reynor continues to hold momentum in his favor. It's all turning into Reynor's favor at the moment, definitely looking pretty for our Italian Zerg. Ling Bane Ultra continues to come through. Fall back up into that medevac, going to move around. Widowmine's going to try and fire up onto a couple of different lings, perhaps. See what maybe can happen over there. As you do see, the Bane's going to continue through. SCVs and Mules are just going to have to go pulling on away. Just getting the heck out. I'm just going to show up, going to see the Queens going down, just going to be seeing a nice little pick-off there as Clem will start a push, but obviously Ultras are going to be a whole new problem for him. He's not really set to play against Ultras in a big way. He doesn't have much of a ghost setup or anything. He's just going to try and hope that continuing to run around the map will be enough for him to see some success. I'm going to move across there, get a little bit more done. Going to be seeing this hatchery going down as well, so that's actually going to be a pretty nice pick-off. And Bio still running over to the right-hand side. Bane's just going to come straight over. Lings, Overseers continue to come up. We reposition ourselves a little bit across the board. Coming around, orbital getting set up. It's going to be seeing the Lings on the Ultra to the top side, trying to see what else is going on. Alan is still hanging on in there, but only on 45 SCVs. That does mean he's got a scary amount of army. And if you let him max out on that army supply, it's going to be very tough to do much with. Just fly in there, just gonna grab a Widow Mine. Missile turret over on the edge is gonna take a couple of shots of damage. It's gonna go down as well. It's gonna get another catch. Mines across the board, that's nice. Gonna get 12 drones. Beautiful little play. Okay, some progress here. Bane's going to continue to chase through these Marines, taking some damage though. This base on the left-hand side might be in trouble for Clem. He's got a Liberator sieging up, more Libs sieging up. He's going to evacuate what he can, but it's mostly SCVs. The Mule's obviously left behind. The Mule is now on top of the Libs. Marines are coming over. We're dropping SCVs into the Banelings, I guess, because the idea is one SCV dropping onto a Baneling is a worthwhile trade. Well, I mean, it's not something you see every day, but it's not a terrible option. We're going to continue to fight. We're just going to see a little bit more coming through then. Bane Ultra coming back through once again. Just going to come back over this direction here. Just going to be seeing the army continuing to charge on forwards. We are just going to be seeing this jumping onto this base. Fresh Mules. Obviously not going to get to last. At least the Liberators will be able to clean up a little bit. Reynor has got an issue of gas, where he only doesn't really have any gas at all in the bank. He's only got minerals, which obviously allows him to rebuild Lings, but only lets him rebuild Lings. His army supply not great at the moment, honestly. Could be a lot better, and Clem's actually going to hold on this left-hand side of Site Delta. This is not going to be done just yet. Not at all. What a crazy situation this continues to build on into. As Clem is very much so keeping in this. We have got ourselves Reynor. Still has bases, still has a lot of the map. I don't think Reynor is immediately kind of worried or anything, but it's got to be a bit more of a concern than what we'd seen before now. We've seen the medevacs loading back into, or loading back up a group of those units there. So just going to bring those back in. Just going to be seeing the Ultras coming in to chase. Fire will turn around once more. Ultra's going to get pushed back during that. At this point, I think Reynor is just having a bit too much rebuild, and Clem is not quite going to be able to contest. Down in army supply, one of the things that Clem had before is that his army supply was absolutely competitive. Now that it's not really competitive anymore, this is way less scary of a situation, and Reynor is going to be able to take much better fights, much better trades across the board, and Basilisk are going to be one step closer to winning the World Team League. As Reynor just about sneaks it through with the Mutas once again. Going to be seeing some drones mining away. We get this underway and get this started up. Clem goes low ground depot. We're going to see Reapers from him. What a time to switch it up into some Reapers. What if he feels like that gives him some confidence, just knowing what Reynor is up to, seeing what Reynor is doing as well. It's the right spawn location for it as well, top right. The add-ons are going to be protected at the very least, so there's a little bit of benefit gained in that regard. Reynor with that 1-0 lead. Again, one map win for Reynor now. Seals the deal. Basilisk go to the finals. Revenge for last season. If Clem wins this, we go to a 1-1. And then it's an ace match, best of one. It must be different players than Clem and Reynor, though. You can't use the same revived player a second time. So that then becomes a little bit funky and interesting as well, of course. The Rax is going to come through. Get set up. Reaper pops out. Just going to start moving across to the other side. Away we go. A couple more Reapers on the way through as well, so just bringing all of that about here. We're going to fight, obviously, first Ling's actually taking some damage and actually taking some losses there. It's a little painful, so some damage done. We've seen a couple of Reapers just going to hop down, moving away for the moment. And 3 of them actually going to go dive pretty deep into this mineral line. Gets a drone, going to get 2, looking for more. Going to find 3, dives the different direction now, so we'll go over there instead and trying to keep that going. Don't think this was necessarily it for Clem, to be honest. Losing the Reapers like that doesn't feel great. Simple coming up, couple Marines coming in, factory on the way through, command center also producing. Stim now on the way, and Clem continues into that bio follow-up as you would kind of expect, so that's that next step of this up and rolling. Get that underway here. Have you seen that? Game taking a few moments to get set, so. Stimpack is on the way through. We'll get that all underway as well. And again, extra Marines are still coming up as well. Another Creep Gma coming through that. Let's get that set up. Overlord's hanging out overhead as well. Continues to move around. A little bit of scouting, nothing too crazy. Means we'll load back up into those medevacs, so just going to bring those back through as well. I'm on the push with these Marines, and now absolutely coming in to try and deal some damage. Some units going the other way. The Ling's going to try and fight this back, but a lot of things going down. One medevac fell, the other one alive. A lot of Marines left over here in Reynor. Not quite prepped for this amount of units. Good control on the Queens, honestly. Extremely good control on the Queens. The fact those Queens lived through that is pretty incredible, I gotta say. I think that's actually really sick. Well, I actually think the Queens living through that is very impressive. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. That might actually be something of a saving grace then, all things considered. Whew. That's actually kind of wild. What a save from Reynor. It was definitely looking bad, but keeping a couple of the Queens alive, 3 of the 4 Queens alive, definitely means it's that much less effective. Just gonna see the Lings wrapping around. Marines load up. Medevac just about getting away. Clem. Well, shake of the head there, looking a little bit sad. I know you haven't killed him straight away, Clem, but I think we can still be kind of okay with the position. It's not terrible. It's pretty very playable. Although creep spread is starting to kind of set up from Reynor here, and obviously Clem committing to that Marine drop hasn't got necessarily another follow-up push going right now as well on a map where maybe you do typically want to look towards those follow-up pushes. Marines unloading. Queens, Lings, Bane's going to continue through there for a couple moments. Continue to bring that around. Ling, Bane continuing up. Just going to see those few Banes really trying to play catch up there. Those Marines have to keep on running. Marines jump into the medevacs. So we've seen the Ling Bane continue to move about then just a little bit. Our Marines unloading and still trying to get some action going for us here, as we do have our army of Clem in a couple of different positions. It's going to be Ling Bane in response though, and that Ling Bane is going all different directions currently, and so far Reynor does seem to be pretty much on top of everything that Clem is trying to do, so Reynor seemingly in a pretty good position for the moment. Clem's harassment really being tackled. Anytime he drops somewhere, it seems as though Reynor is there ready to greet him, so is again matching up well so far. And that's why it's so fun to watch these two play, because the speed of them both, they just match each other well when it comes to the speed they play at, right? As Clem just dies for that hatchery, has to lift up though. And that is the cost of just trying or believing in the hatchery kill. Hatchery does not go down, and Clem, he has it low, but obviously not quite finished off, so something he might try and fix a bit further down the line, but not exactly going to be great. That hatchery is so far going to be surviving. Hedgehog keeping gathered up with those few queens. Widowmines joining up as well in the center. We've seen a bit of Ling Bane still coming through. And yeah, I mean, Widowmine's trying to burrow up. Clem, if you can retarget those Widowmines, that one is actually a pretty okay shot, honestly. Not a bad way for things to go. Could have been a whole lot worse. Loading up once again. Clem's supply pretty even with that of Reynor's. Is Clem able to hang on in there again? Pressure is on Clem. The series is over if he loses. If he wins, it's still going to be tough for Liquid, but there is a chance. Clem has to win to at least give them that chance. He's been incredible for them in these playoffs. Reynor has definitely been the MVP of Basilisk today. Can Reynor just finish it off and just not need to go to that best of one ace? He will not be able to represent in that best of one ace, but who better to back you up than Cyril? And just not quite getting close enough there before the cleanup is made. We've seen a few more Marines unloading. Spellcrow actually gets the medevac though, so that's the end of that drop. Not the end of the world. As we just have Bio coming across, Ling Bane going back across the other direction. Medevac's going to come back in over here. Marine's going to unload around the back of this mineral line. Bunch of drones begin to go down. 8 workers falling. Spawning pool going to be in some trouble. Lings are still pulling in. Good amount of damage dealt there, honestly, and looking a little bit rough. Only take a few moments, and we do have ourselves the Bioforce still trying to press up here. Just going to try and press on forwards and see if we can get through. At the same time, massive counterattack from Reynor as he realizes his opportunity to try and get to the other side and deal some damage. Clem pulling it back from some Banelings. Drop still on the go. Ling's all over the place. Like, Clem has lost a lot of SCVs, but Reynor lost a lot of units trying to make this happen. Clem is going to finish off this hatchery from earlier, so just a nice quick pick off to finish that up. That damage dealt there, at least in the end, did not fully go to waste. It was utilized just much further down the line. Is Marauder into the center, going to deny that forward base, so Reynor will not be able to keep that alive. A few more lings potentially going down. The Overlord will fall. Supplies even is generally a good sign for Clem, but Reynor's also taking a step forward as he gets towards Ultras in these next few moments. We've seen an Odamine shot 2 going off. Reynor is once again going to focus on firing shots towards his opponent and doesn't do just that right now as he sends it up. It's going to be having now Bio still putting in some work. Damage continues to be done here for the moment. Shots going off across the board. Just going to be seeing how Ultra Cavern continuing to put the work in to get Chitinous plating. Both players losing drones. SCV's work is dropping, like I say, just everywhere. These couple of Ultras up here, what can they do? Good Mind's going to clean up a lot of it, and that's going to mean that those Ultras will not do anything. They just don't have the support to continue through, so that was a very simple resolution to that question. Now we are going to see Clem going to try and focus on maybe denying some of these top bases that Reynor's been able to mine from in recent times. More lings coming over. The Marine Marauder just going to take some shots as we go on that. We have a few more of those shots coming through then for the moment. Just going to be seeing ourselves. Less if he's going down. The Ultras are still trying to chase forwards here, but they're starting to run in towards Liberator range and stuff, and I feel like Clem is starting to get a pretty decent handle on this, so starting to handle what his opponent is bringing to the table, which is going to be those Ultras, is the kind of newest spice of life. The newest addition that's able to get something done here. I'm going to see the Ultras again, just going to force those Medivacs to lift up and back away. Still just having ourselves a good amount of damage dealt across the board as Reynor is still losing drones. Clem's supply is definitely looking better, though. Again, he's been able to really keep pressure going around the map while also being able to just put work in that's been very successful in terms of... well, I think some of Clem's biggest success here has really been the story of just being able to kind of show up and really kind of keep damage going while also minimizing what Reynor does run-by-wise. Like, the run-bys of Reynor have been good, but they've not been as crazy good as we sometimes expect Reynor's run-bys to be, right? So, I think that might be one of the, like I say, stories here of this overall situation. Bio coming across the map from Clem. Reynor does rebuild. He's going to get back to being remaxed. So he did have money to spend, and he does get to spending it. So that's an important note, as we have a few Corruptors out trying to deal with these Liberators that are obviously becoming a bigger and bigger issue. They've really made a stamp on this game in the last few minutes. A few more units continue to come around. Just going to be seeing how Bane's going to roll through. The Ultras are still going to continue to chase forward as well. Bio will continue to fight. Those couple of Ultras are still dropping here. Bio will load up. Just going to evacuate away to the sides. Just going to pull out of there. Bio will continue. That's another Ultra that gets picked off there. The Banes getting chased away. This topside base will not get to live. Now it's Clem's turn to take a little bit of a lower supply dive for a couple of moments, although I'm still not convinced it's going to be too problematic for him. I don't think it says end of the world territory or anything of the sorts. Lots of Lings running by once more. That's been the secret of Reynor in this game and in this series in general. All these matches against Clem, the run-bys have been imperative to seeing some of the success he's been able to get across the course of this, so that has been a pretty good factor, pretty big thing, and we'll continue to see it here right now as we are going to be seeing 19 SCVs going down, but again, it's coming at a cost. These units do not come freely for Reynor, and that is his issue, that Clem is getting to clean some of those units up. He is getting to kill a bunch of them off. And I think that is the big issue that Reynor sees for himself, is money is not dried up for Reynor, but it's definitely running low. He's not maintaining the most massive of banks all of the time. He is being forced to spend that bank, and he's kind of just got to hope that the mining denial he's putting on Clem is going to be enough to see him through to the end of this, I think, eventually. I think we're getting to the point where that is just the way that Reynor has to, again, approach this and see this through. Oh, a couple of Widow Mines going off. Good pull away on the drones. Obviously, they're aiming to hit the mineral line there, so good to be able to just stop those from doing that, because you do not want to lose any more workers. You're playing a very intense game here. Every worker is going to account for something. Almost 20 minutes in on Crimson Court. Players fighting for their teams in what is tournament life for Team Liquid. Chance to move to the finals already for Reynor. I'm going to come over, just going to be having a few moments of knocking down some rocks, something that isn't going to be Zergon Terran action for a few moments finally. Like, it's been kind of crazy just how much of that has been kind of the case here, I guess. I guess that's not really too surprising given the fact it's a ZVT, but it has just been non-stop. It's been busy, and there's been a lot of ZVTs in this series as well, which is always fun to see. I mean, we had an incredible TVP from Clem and Showtime early today too. Anyways, Lane Bane into the main base. Gonna come running straight on through. Fire gonna fly. A couple of Widow Mine shots going off. Snipes are gonna come down as well. More snipes is coming in across the board. Damage continues to be dealt for the moment. Ultras are still dropping here, there, and currently everywhere. $183, $187 supplies. The numbers are still just so consistent between the two. Pretty incredible just how consistent the supplies can kind of stay between two players in a 20-minute game. I love this setup as well. It's very rare, I feel like, that you see this kind of left side, right side Crimson Court layout. It shouldn't be that crazy a setup, I don't think. It should be fairly common, but I don't know. Just looking at the map like this, you guys just see so many of the TvZs actually end quickly on this map. You never really get to see it go to this point, I suppose. There's actually something of the factor, as we are going to be seeing the fungals are huge, and those are massive connections! Clem loses a lot. I mean, the Widow Mine explosions were there as well. This had a little bit of everything going on. I mean, that's a little bit crazy, a little bit hectic. Oh my goodness. Is Clem still the one we're liking after that? I'm actually not sure anymore. Oh my god. I mean, this is just crazy. Absolutely ridiculous state of the game that we're continuing to see breaking out over the course of this. And Clem now fighting towards the top side, looking to get this base again. Has to lift up with those medevacs, retreating away. Another Widow Mine goes off on just a single Zergling this time, though. This time it's not as big of a deal as what we have been seeing. Clem gonna hold on as Widow Mine's not firing. There's one, though, hits the Zerglings. Needs to do whatever he can to play cleanup at the moment. Ultras taking some shots. The Ling's still trying to run on through as well. Clem cleans up a lot of the units once again. As Reynor comes across the map, he just goes very, very well. Able to get a lot done. Oh. Lings are still running up here. I just don't think Reynor has the tech anymore. If this is just purely Lings, he just cannot keep on fighting this, and I think Clem might have done it. I think Clem might set us up to go to that best of one ace, where it's going to be his turn to sit back and watch as Team Liquid will try and take down the final player of Basilisk. And Basilisk will try and take down the final player of Liquid. It's going to be dead even. It's a best of one. I think that's going to be what it comes down to. But in my eyes, Reynor did enough here, guys. I mean, how could he not have done enough here? I mean, all you had to do is take a map to put you definitely in the favorable position in the next stage of this format. It definitely benefits Basilisk now with the strength of their lineup and how their lineup especially matches up against the lineup of Liquid. So, yeah, hard not to be happy with Reynor just getting the map win. Because, like I say, in my eyes, that may very well just be good enough to see this through to a big old victory. Well, Clem's definitely got this one now, I think. I don't think Reynor's recovering from this supply deficit as Clem is on the other side of the map fighting Lings. Looks as though he will pick up and away from that, so he will back away for the moment, but generally is still looking pretty decent as the SCVs have to retreat away from that planetary. It's devoid of power and life anymore, not much else for it to do. I'm just going to fight and see a little bit more damage coming about. It's going to be seeing Clem. He's going to be able to get the win. Reynor is going to type GG and he will not be able to finish the series. Clem does what he can. He does everything possible to put Liquid in a great position. Now it's time for someone else on Liquid to step up though and to bring the final blow to Basilisk. I mean, away we go as we set off. It is going to be Serral in the bottom left corner of the map. He has not played in a few hours, and neither is Cure. They both played at the very start of this series. Who would have thought this would what it would be coming down to? It's a best of one. The winner advances their team to the grand finals of the World Team League Summer 2024 season to play against Vitality. Who do you think it's going to be? Well, we will find out soon. Yeah, Clem couldn't play this one, guys. You can't revive someone a second time. So if you use someone as a revive, you can't use them in the ultimate ace. That's why I was saying that if this continues, it really, or if they went this way, it does have a little bit of favor towards sorry. It does have a little bit of favor towards Basilisk in my eyes. Well, that's going to have a hatch gas pull coming down. So not going to do anything too crazy here to start us off. That's going to be very normal for the moment. The mule dropping in, just going to see a CC dropping into position as well. Just going to get that going here. Get that all started off. It's going to come through. It's going to be seeing the Reaper going to fight. The Lincoln's going to take some damage. It's going to be obviously seeing Cure putting on some pressure to start with. Obviously his opening pretty normal as well. Very intrigued as to where he takes this. What his idea of success here might be is a couple of Lings go after that Reaper. So the Reaper gets chased a little bit as well. Well, Reaper takes a few shots, but still very much so alive and waiting to see what Serral's plan is when it comes to the next step of this game. What does he go into? What does he want to build? Reaper's still on a little bit of a move around. hold out in the watchtower for a couple moments and a couple queens on the way out. The Hellions and engineering base continue through as well. Engineering base continue through. Orbital command coming up. Just going to be seeing a couple more Hellions continue to come through as well. Just going to be having our orbital continue to come around for the moment. Get that set up. Well, single link gets through here, going to be able to deal with that, but just a little bit of information gained by Cyril. Third CC is ready to move out into position, obviously just moving into 1-1 and stem. Very standard here currently from Q, and not really much to point out just yet. Barracks will drop down in the main base. It's going to be 5 racks in total. Hellions just going to put a little bit of shots onto that creep team. It will go down. Little cube move there. Friendly fire to take it out. Just trying to slow down the creep in any way possible. Q, a monumental task upon his shoulders, taking down one of the very best, if not the greatest of all time. I mean, it ain't easy. But if there's ever a time to step up and get another map win against Cyril, like he got one early and it was already like, okay, great job. Q, you did what you needed to do. You beat Cyril, and now it's like, hey Q, we kind of need you to go beat Cyril again. He's like, God damn it, I did my part. Well, get back to this as we just have ourselves the starport swapped into the reactors. So Q will start to have some action on the map here very shortly. We'll be able to get that on the go. Just going to be pulling away to the side. 2-2 upgrades coming about as well. So all of that coming in just for the moment. Failing speed coming through. Couple drones, hatcheries coming about. Creep tumors on the way. Vex is going to continue to move about. We are going to be seeing 2-2 upgrades continue to come around. Just going to be seeing our Marines unloading. Hellions morphing into Hellbats here. That's going to be Q with a little bit of a commitment push right now. This is the benefit of keeping those Hellions alive early, but Banes are rolling forwards. And Q knows that that's probably not going to end well for him. Tries to pull away. The Bane's going to go for the Marines, which means the Hellbats get to continue dealing damage for a little bit. I don't know if that was actually so bad for Q. I think that was okay. And he will actually be able to unload once again there and just go back at it. We'll get a few more creep tumors, and honestly, it's not been a bad start from Q. I think one of the better starts you could maybe have asked for, but we are a long way from that meaning that this game is over. I mean, a good start is one thing, but keeping the action going and keeping the momentum up and just keeping your position against someone as strong as Cyril is a whole different beast. Marines, tanks, the medevacs coming over. We have ourselves the little bit of Baneling action there. Going to connect, and Q, as he gets this push on the go. I mean, this is what he didn't commit to last time, earlier today against Cyril. He kind of hesitated about his 8 racks, so he didn't go, and he just ended up in a late game he never had a chance in. This time he's going to start sending it. Cyril's going to go around the map. He's going to be way behind on upgrades, but already looking for counterattacks or surrounds to make this a much better situation. And to make these fights as good for him as possible. Well, a few units reinforcing at the moment will be able to defend against the initial wave of that. He's just going to sit about. Ling's coming in from a few different angles. The tank's going to be a bit exposed. Oh, Kyo has to lift up and back away. That means it's probably not going to go well enough at all. That ain't going to be it. And it looks as though we are already seeing disaster striking here for Kyo and Team Liquid, as Serral and Basilisk will be moving through into the grand finals. It didn't work. He gave it a go. He did what he could, but I think Kyo knows that this is just not good enough. The 8 racks was not strong. Serral dealt with it well. Actually, just kind of caught Kyo off guard in a couple of these fights, I feel like. GG. Serral takes it. A little bit of a foregone conclusion almost. Serral, the moment the game didn't end in 5 minutes, I feel like Serral is just such a beast at the moment. And Basilisk, after a very dramatic series with Liquid, will line up against Vitality in the grand finals.